Very good morning, children. So last we saw his first flight, right? So in that one we saw that um, the seagull was trying to fly, but its siblings started flying, flapping its wing and started flying away. But whereas our hero was not able to fly, and the parent was also very sad, and they were also very angry on our hero since he was not trying out to fly. So that was 24 hours. See the last para. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. So after 24 hours had gone by, and near the seagull, no one have come. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight. So the parent, the seagull's parent, were teaching its a sibling how to fly and perfecting them. Like if they make some mistakes, so that the parent may correct them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the weaves and how to dive for fish. So they are also teaching to hunt. So this is being taught by the parent to the siblings of the seagull. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it standing on a rock, while his parents circle around raising a proud cackle. So what happened? Even the first brother, older brother means the first brother, big brother, he even started catching the fishes, and he was also what it is doing, and standing on the rock it was able to catch a fish. And what the parent were doing is they were standing in the rock and they were cheering them. They were flapping their wings and clapping their wings, praising the sun that it has caught the fish. And all the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, laughing at his covered eyes. So after, since they have caught, they means here I am telling about the brothers, siblings. So when they have were able to hunt, what did they do? They made fun on our hero. Okay, they were walking and they were making fun on our hero. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing warmly on his ledge that faced the south. Now the sun was started to going towards the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. So what happened, since he was not able to go for a hunting, he didn't have the food. I already told you that the parent was so angry and they told that they are going to ignore. So they started ignoring. So he is not having a food in the night. So as the sun was moving from the east to west, it has started to south, means it has come directly above the high, which means it's a midday. And seagull was the heat was so high, and it could feel this heat in the stomach, and it was so hungry. Then he had found a dried piece of mackerel's tail at the mackerel tails at the far end of this ledge. So what happened is the seagull, our hero, was able to see a dried piece of mackerel tail. So it was able to see a tail at the far end of the ledge. Ledge is nothing but, you can see in the picture, right? A narrow stone, right? So like that is a ledge. Now there was not a single scrap of food left, not even a small pieces of food left there. He had searched every inch, rooting among the rough dirt cacked straw nest where he and his brother sister had been hatched. So it was searching the whole home. Actually, the home of seagull is the nest. So it was searching the whole nest for the food. He even gnawed the dried piece of the eggshell. It even started pricking, no, kotti sapadradhu. Even started doing that in the eggs which it hatched, no, that also it was trying to do, but it was not able to find any food. It was like eating a part of himself. Yeah, right, the egg, inside the egg only the seagull was there, and it hatched. Egg வந்து முட்டை பொரிஞ்சு தான் வந்திருக்கும் இல்லையா? So it was trying to eat that. So it is like eating himself, but since he was in a heavy hungry, he started doing even that, but it was not a good meal for him. He then trotted back and forth from one end of the ledge to another. So he started to move from one end, the back end and the front end. He started moving up and down, his long grey legs stepping daintily, trying to find some means of reaching his parents without having to fly. So it is trying to reach the parent, but at the same moment it doesn't want to fly away. But on each side of him, the ledge ended in a sheer fall of pure peace with the sea beneath. So, but however, it was so narrow that the ledge, if it is going to skip away, it will surely fall into the sea which is beneath. And between him and his parents, there was a deep white crack. So, between this seagull and the parent, there was a deep white crack. A big crack was there. Only if the seagull flies, it can go to the other end of the crack and it can reach the parent. But it is not doing because it was so scared to fly. Surely he could reach them without flying if he could only move northward among the cliff face. But then, and what he could walk, there was no ledge and he was not a fly. So what happened is, there is no clear pathway for it, unless otherwise the seagull flies, it could reach to the parent, as I said above. There was no ledge and he was not a fly, and above him he could see nothing, and pure peace was sheer, and top of it was perhaps farther away from the sea beneath him. He stepped slowly out of the brink of the ledge and standing on the one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing. You know, right? Kokku naranikolya, folding his leg like that, it was standing there. He closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. So it started closing its eye as if it was sleeping. Still, they took no notice of him. Still, the parent was ignoring completely. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. So, what the other seagulls are doing, they had a heavy lunch, so they are keeping their heads inside their feathers and they started dozing, means they started sleeping away. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. So, the father of the seagull was trying to clean itself at the backside. Only his mother was looking at him. He was standing on a little high on the hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. So, the seagull was trying to move forward. So, it is pushing its front part of the body to thrusting, means it is giving a pressure and it is moving forward. Now and again she tore at a piece of flesh that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. So now and then, you know the birds what they do, right? They prick down and they are scratching. No, அதோட அது என்ன சொல்வீங்க, மூக்கு இல்லையா, அதை அந்த சைடும் சைடும் துடைக்கிறாங்க. The sight of the foot maddened him. So he was able to see the foot. So it is making him crazy. It is making our hero crazy. How he loved to tear foot that way, scraping his beak now and again to wheel it. He uttered a low crackle. His mother cackled too and looked at him. So they are making a noise. The child is making a noise. Our hero is making a noise, so that the mother is also looking at and it is also making a noise. Ga ga ga, he cried, begging her to bring him some food. So the seagull, our hero, is shouting at the mother to give some food. Galu, she screamed back mockingly, but he kept calling plaintively. So, however, the mother was making fun on him, but the seagull was going on trying to call out the mother for food. And after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his foot. So, the mother, suddenly what happened, after some time, the seagull was so happy to see the mother flying with the piece of fish towards our hero, seagull. But then she was just opposite to him, abreast of the ledge. She halted, her legs hanging limp, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within the reach of his beak. So the bird came near and it was trying to feed. The mother was trying to feed the seagull. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then maddened by hunger. But actually, what the seagull done was, the mother one was standing at the other side and it was keeping the fish on the beak and it was trying to reach. But here, this seagull has to fly away to cross the crack and it has to go to the other side to the mother, only then it could have. So it got angry again why the mother isn't flying this crack and why the mother isn't coming towards it, but it is standing on the other end. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. Suddenly what happened? It was so hungry, so it was diving towards the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outward and downward into the space. Suddenly he fell down. His mother had swooped upwards. As he passed beneath her, he heard the swish of her wings. So what happened? His mother suddenly moved upward and she passed beneath her. So this mother was flying beneath the seagull now. Then a monstrous terror seized him and his heart stood still. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a moment. The next moment, he felt his wings spread outward. So, what happened? For few seconds, it was like an adventure for seagull, and it was like the heart is coming out of its mouth. And after a moment, it started flapping its wings, and he felt the wings spread out unknowingly, like involuntarily. The wings had involuntarily the wings had flapped and it started flying away. The wind rushed against his breast feathers and then under his stomach and against his wings. He could feel the tip of his wings cutting through the air. Now, what happened? The seagull started flying. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. Now, he started playing. It started flying in the air. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a bit dizzy. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. So, literally, it is feeling dizzy. Dizzy means nothing but little like Talasutra Madri. He uttered a joyous scream and flapped them again. He soared higher. He raised his breast and banked against wind. Ga 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 ga, gulga. His mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. So, what happened? Now, the mother is also flying and they were talking in their language. And they both were very happy. Her wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. Then he saw his two brothers and sister flying around him, soaring and diving. So whole family now started flying and they were so happy. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commenced to dive and soar and shrieking shrilly. So it started flying away. Not only flying away, it started diving also. Diving, moving upside down in the air. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing out over the ocean. So it was straightly it is moving towards the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath them with the little ridges moving over it. He turned his beak sideways and crowed amusedly. So it was very happily, it is moving towards the sea and it was watching the sea full of green in color and ridges also. The ridges are small mountains. So it was able to see all these things and it was happily flying towards the ocean. His parents and brothers and sisters landed on his green floor in front of him. They were pecking him, calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. His legs sank into it. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again. But all other birds have stopped at the green floor which is near to the sea. But this one, it went directly to the ocean and it stopped there. Because it's of water, it was not able to stand there, but it got sunk away. It started going inside into the water. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his butt. He was tired and weak with his hunger. He could not rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. His feet sank into the green sea and then his belly touched it and he sank no further. So what happened? As it was trying to come up, it was not able to come up and it was going down and it started. He was floating on it and around him his family was screaming. Now what happened? As it was doing, it started to sink away and finally it started floating now. Initially it got scared, but now it started floating away. And around him, now his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. So the other members of the family are now giving him as a appraisal. They are giving him the dogfish for them. He made his first flight. Okay. So here is the meaning. Ledge, a narrow shelf that just for a vertical surface, shrilly producing a high-pitched piercing voice or sound. Herring, a long silverfish that swims in large groups in sea. Devour, to eat something eagerly in large amount so that nothing is left. Okay, the next one is cackle, a sharp broken noise or cry of a hen. Mackerel, a sea fish with a strong taste. Bad taste, it will have a bad taste. Gnaw, to bite or chew something repeatedly. Taught, to run at a moderate pace with short steps. Perpese, a very steep side of a cliff of a mountain, wet to sharpen, prenning, cleaning feathers with beak, plaintively, sadly, swoop to move very quickly and easily through the air, beckoning, making a gesture with the hand or head to encourage someone to approach and follow. So this will be your recorded class, children. Be thorough with this, and I'll be sending you the question answers very shortly. You can buy a Surah guide and you can start reading. Thank you, children.